Hello, good to have you with us. The leaders of North and South Korea have signed a joint military agreement on inter-Korean relations after their summit on Wednesday in the North's capital, Pyongyang. In a press conference immediately after the signing, North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un spoke about the two Koreas taking a leap forward for peaceful relations. South Korea's president invited his counterpart to visit Seoul while also announcing the construction of a railway this year which would link the two nations. Well, Laura Bickert joins us live from Seoul now. Laura, tell us more about the agreement signed.
Well, we're just getting the information through because the translation is quite difficult for us to go through, and this is just happening in real time. What we're hearing from Pyongyang is that President Moon has said that North Korea has agreed to permanently dismantle the Dongchang re-engine test site and missile launch site with the attendance of relevant country experts. That is significant. This would signify that North Korea, Kim Jong-un, is willing to allow independent experts into the country and to see this dismantling. There'll also be further dismantling, we're told, of the Yongbyon site. So these are two key sites where missiles are made and where missiles are launched from that certainly have been mentioned in this agreement. As well as the also agreements between North and South, there seems to have been further movements towards creating cultural experiences. And North and South Korea are going to try to come up with a joint bid for the Summer Olympics. Now, that would be huge if it happens. So it looks like they're prepared to work towards that, as well as the railway cooperation, which they hope to try to get a link into North Korea by the end of this year.
OK, let's come back to the economic stuff in just a moment. The denuclearization progress. How big is this? I mean, President Moon went there really wanting to play the go-between between the US and North Korea. Has he done it?
Well, I think if this comes to fruition, if independent inspectors are allowed into the borders of North Korea to see the destruction of this missile test site, then I think it would be a huge victory for President Moon. I think when he went to Pyongyang, certainly here in Seoul and elsewhere around the world, there's an element of scepticism that Kim Jong-un is not genuine, that perhaps the South Korean president wanted this too much, had overblown the idea that North Korea was willing to denuclearize. Well, if he manages to get those independent experts, the relevant country experts, as it's been translated to me, into the country, then that would be a huge win. But it does still have to happen. We've got no timeline yet, and this has just been announced. You're right. President Moon, I've called him the mediator, I've called him the man in the middle. He's trying to broker a deal between the United States and North Korea. He also wants peace for his own country. Remember, this has been a country divided since 1953. They have technically been at war since then. The fighting only ended with an armistice, not a peace treaty. He himself is the son of North Korean refugees. He has an aunt based in North Korea, so he knows what this means to divided families. So when it comes to trying to arrange things between the two Koreas, he is desperately pushing forwards. If North Korea has agreed to this, then it's something that he can take to the United States and say, look, we want this peace treaty. You want some kind of concrete evidence that he's willing to disarm. This is what I've got him to sign. So it's certainly something to use as leverage again with the United States.
So you keep saying if. How big an if is this?
I know, I'm aware I keep saying if. I think part of the problem is we've seen a lot of talk so far, and we've yet to see concrete action from North Korea. And things have happened incredibly quickly. And there's no doubt that the number of summits we've had, the number of agreements that have been signed in such a short space of time, and even the leaders of both North and South Korea have said during their press conferences, we're going to take our own time at this. But when we see a timeline, I think that's when people will start to say, perhaps he is serious, at least with regards to these two test sites, of dismantling them and further destroying them.
OK, coming back to this economic stuff, who stands to benefit the most from that?
Well, you might say when it comes to the economic cooperation, it will be North Korea in that sense. if investment starts to flow in. But I mean, I was part of an economic forum yesterday where I was with senior businessmen discussing what they would like to see happen in North Korea. These are senior South Korean businessmen. And yes, they're happy to invest. They see this new railroad that's being planned, which would go here from all the way through South Korea, through into the north and into Russia. It would be a freight train. But there's a lot of work to do. It involves a lot of investment, huge challenges. And here, and I said to them, look, the big elephant in the room here is sanctions. Because right now, North Korea is subject to both US and UN international sanctions. No investment can go into that country without those sanctions being lifted. And those sanctions will not be lifted until concrete steps are taken to denuclearize. So the two have to go hand in hand. So yes, the investment would be significant. It would make a huge difference to North Korea. But many are wondering, would it be the North Korean state that would receive that money, or the North Korean people, if indeed that investment is ever allowed to go forward?
Gosh, Laura, there is so much that I want to ask you, but we're right out of time. Thank you.